Hey, my friends, this is Dave Sharpe, and I am excited to be here with you guys this morning on another episode of Wake Up Legendary. There's really no better way to wake up. It takes me a few minutes in the morning to actually become legendary, but I eventually get there after a cup of coffee or two. So this morning I'm there. I hope you are too. I've got a great guest, a good friend, somebody who I've come to know and love. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring in James Neville-Taylor. What up, my brother?
What is up, Dave? How's it going? Great to be here. Super excited to be here.
Awesome, man. So, guys, this dude is going to be talking about something both from a business perspective, but also how he's using his business to further his message. So, what I want you guys to be thinking about today as we're talking is do you have a bigger why? And what is your why? And I know that sounds cliche, but there's an exercise that you can do on your own time. And essentially, the way that it goes is you simply first thought, write down why it is that you're starting your business. And then the next thing you ask yourself is, what would my life be like if that happened? And what's the motivation for me wanting that first level of a goal? And then what would life be like and why do I want that? And then the deeper down that you ask that question, like for example, James, I'd almost love to go through this with you because obviously we know where you ended up now in terms of using your business not only as a vehicle, man, to be able to make money and support your lifestyle, traveling around the world, doing the things that you love to do, but you've also got a bigger mission with furthering awareness around mental health and so forth. But I don't want to jump there right now because I want to go back to the very beginning about what was your motivation to start an online business and learn some of these skills when you first got started. Take us back to the very beginning.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's really important to have moving goals as well, because if you don't set yourself a goal after you've reached your initial goal, then it's easy to kind of burn out and slide back into where you were. So when I first got started, my main motivation was just to be able to stand on my own 2 feet after struggling with anxiety, depression, not being able to work in a job, relying on the government and family and stuff like that. My main focus and my main why was just to be able to stand on my own 2 feet to kind of prove that I could support myself. So that was my main mission, and I realized I'd done that about a year after I first started. And then after I'd reached that goal, I set another goal to help people who were in my position the year before, struggling with anxiety, couldn't I mean, when I first started, I could barely look someone in the eye, let alone hold a conversation. So working in like a factory, working behind a counter in what you might call a regular job was out of the question for me. So online business was the only kind of avenue for me. And once I got that success, once I started to make something of myself, and I realized that I had made something of myself, then I wanted to give back. I wanted to pull the people up with me who were still struggling, who were still in that dark place, and help them into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, there's the essential progression of you sort of doing the exercise that I just talked about naturally. First is I want to be able to eat and live and prove that I can do something besides just collect a check from the government.
Mhm.
And I also want to just say for those of you who are listening that I think one of the conversations and things that just one of the things that's real with human beings is mental health. So in no way, shape, or form are we or I saying that collecting a check from the government is a bad thing or a shameful thing because mental illness is real. Mental illness is real. Okay, so I just want to say that with a period at the end, and I like I like the idea that you wanted to prove that to yourself. So it was kind of like a double. There was two levels to your initial why. I want to put food on my table. I also want to prove to myself that I can do something. And then the next level was doing it. Then the next level, following through, continuing to prove to yourself. And then the next level was actually giving back. Um, Take us. There's a lot of people. I want to drill down a little bit more on who you were when you started, because I think a lot of people look at people who have success as if they have superpowers. But tell us just how, if you would be as vulnerable as possible about what were some of the challenges for you when you started online, when you started as an entrepreneur, that you've had to overcome, some of those real things that people are dealing with every day. I just want to try to validate for them that the things that they're experiencing are normal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when I first got started, I was probably in a worse position than you guys are watching right now. I when I first got started in 2017, I was really anxious. I was depressed. I didn't have much hope. I didn't have any belief in myself, and the biggest obstacle for me to overcome was fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of taking action, and just that fear coming to you every time you do something. And it was silly little things for me. I mean, just putting a profile picture up on Facebook was a big obstacle to overcome at the time, and that may not register on your radar, but that was a big obstacle for me at the time. And I remember in my chest just the panic and the chest tightening every time I went to press that post button or put a picture up or kind of do anything online. There was that crippling fear and that crippling anxiety. And the first time you do anything is always going to be the hardest. The first time you put a profile picture up, the first time you post, the first time you speak on a live, the first time you speak on stage, that all of them are really scary and really fearful experiences. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes, the easier and the more natural it becomes, the more you do it. So I think the biggest obstacle by far for me was the fear of just kind of getting out there and doing it. But it's it's strange because there was a bigger fear in the background that kind of pushed me past that, and that was the fear of missing out, the fear of not living up to my full potential, the fear of the amount of things that I'd already missed out on by not acting in the past, and the fear of missing out and not living up to that. So if there's one thing that I can instill in you today, is having the fear of not being your true self, not living up to your full potential, and kind of imagine being I don't want to get too out of the box here, but imagine being on your deathbed and looking back at all the opportunities that you could have had, and all those regrets that of the times that you didn't take action, and just having a life so full of regrets. I can't think of anything that is really more uh, a worse way to feel than that. So if I can instill one thing into you, it's the fear of that becoming a reality, and pushes me to become a better version of myself every single day. So um, yeah, I kind of pressed on fear a lot there, but that was a big problem for me when I first started, was the fear of just doing the simple little things. Judgment as well. And as soon as I'm sure you've experienced this a lot, Dave, and anyone who has any success at all experiences people that are haters, that are trolls, as soon as you start to see a little bit of success, people come on and say, "Oh, this is a scam. This is bull crap," and kind of putting you down. If they can't see it for themselves, the next best thing is to kind of lash out at people who they can't kind of see themselves as. So that's another big thing as well. And when you're first starting to see success, that can be a really real challenge. If it used to really hurt me whenever someone swore at me, whenever I'd get an email like a hate mail or something like that, and it would really, really hurt me. In this online marketing game, you've really got to try and develop some thick skin, because no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how nice you are, no matter how much you try, there's always going to be some people that hate on you. There's always going to be some people that try and knock your building down to better themselves.
Yeah. Um, for sure. Don't you think that sort of judgment though happens in everything, man? I mean, a lot of times us internet marketers make it sound like this is the only profession that you're going to get judgment and criticism, but doesn't that happen everywhere? You
Oh
know,
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Actually, I think it happens on a bigger scale online because you're kind of putting yourself out there to a lot more people. But yeah, it absolutely does happen in everywhere. I think people are just a lot of people are just judgmental by nature. It's kind of in our nature to be so. But yeah, it does absolutely happen everywhere.
yeah, I think the benefits, which I want to talk about a little bit, some of the things that you've now experienced in terms of freedom, because I've witnessed it. You traveling across the pond. You're currently in where right now? Where you're from?
Uh,
Where you live?
yeah, I'm back in the UK now. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we've connected many times in Florida here as you've traveled and bounced around the United States. I mean, guys, this dude's a real, I would say, beginning stages world traveler. And it's happened fast, right?
Hmm.
So, relatively fast. It's not an overnight thing, but tell us a little bit about what life has been like for you over the last year or year and a half or so since you've really began to experience success. What are some of the things that you've done, and what are the things that you are most excited about, most proud about, and the benefits of sticking through those challenges that you talked about just a second ago?
Hmm. Um, but yeah, it's been absolutely amazing the last couple of years, and it has happened really fast. Considering, I mean, from being suicidal back in early 2017 to where I am today, it's happened really fast. And I've been blessed to be able to travel around the world. I've spoken in 9 different countries so far across 3 different continents around the world on stage. So lots of traveling, lots of experiencing awesome things, cultures, food. One of the big things I love about traveling is all the different food everywhere. Brazil has got the most amazing food out of anywhere. If you ever get a chance to go to Brazil and experience the food there, that is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I think I've been to about 10 different states in the US. Traveled around to around 15 different countries, and this is all in the last year and a half. Yeah, it was literally 2 years ago, 2 years and 2 months ago. I hadn't left the country in like 15 years. I hadn't been on a plane in like 15 years. And then last year alone, I was on like 20, 30 different plane rides to different places. It was absolutely insane. So when the success does happen, it can come really fast. And again, a big part of it has been just stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing through the fear and pushing through to different things, because there's so many opportunities that I could have and almost did say no to. And the first time I spoke on stage, I almost said no because I didn't think I could do it. And like I say, the first time even getting on an aeroplane was scary. And if I'd have just said no to any of those little things, then they wouldn't have progressed onto bigger things. And the smallest little things can snowball and catapult you into much greater things as well. But it's been absolutely incredible getting to know all the different people. I think I went to 20 different digital marketing events last year, made some amazing connections, made some really good friendships, and with I locked myself away from the world for almost 7 years before I hit my low point in 2017. So I don't really have many friends. I don't really know many people. I'm kind of a little, what you would call a social recluse. And the people that I've met online, the people that I've got to know over the last couple of years have become true friends and family. They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And the online community, the people that I've met over the last couple of years have been absolutely amazing, and I'm proud to be able to call them my true family as well. So it's just the benefits go on and on. The connections that I've made, the people that I've met, and the experiences that I've had, and the freedom that I've been able to get by being able to just jump on a plane and kind of work from wherever I am. And that's the beauty of this online business, is I can work from wherever I am in wherever I am in the world. I can just turn on my laptop, go check my affiliate account, go check my accounts, and withdraw from wherever I am. So the freedom that allows me as well is incredible. And yeah, I just can't recommend the affiliate marketing side of things enough, because it does give you freedom that few other industries really allow you to have.
Yeah, and I've loved watching your journey and watching you have a blast doing what you do, traveling around, hopping from basically the south to the north, from Florida to New York to to the UK, back over to the United States. I mean, to hit 20 marketing events, to go from as you said, suicidal, a recluse, and to be able to have, I mean, when you spoke at our event, our mastermind, can't remember if it was earlier this year, or
No,
maybe
it was October, later last year. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, just having you there in watching you, but I believe you were at both masterminds,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just, it's a beautiful thing. So we're on the Wake Up Legendary show. There's a lot of people who are, new to the community on a daily basis and deciding whether they want to plant their flag and learn these skills that you've learned.
I just want to add to that real quickly as well, is that it's not all roses and everything right now either. Like the struggles that I had growing up with the anxiety and stuff like that are still prevalent. It's not something that goes away. The PTSD and everything like that, it's not something that just goes away. So if you're feeling, even if you've had some success, even if you feel, even if you're doing really well right now and you're not feeling it, just realize that it's okay not to feel okay all the time. It's okay to still have that anxiety sometimes. I mean, I still feel it when I go to the events sometimes, with groups of people. I still get anxious, I still get nervous and stuff like that. So if you go to these events and you still feel anxious, you still feel nervous, even after going there dozens of times, then just realize that it's okay to have those feelings, and that it's okay to still get anxious, still get nervous, and there's nothing wrong with you for having those feelings. I just wanted to add that on there as well.
Love it, man. Thank you. So, my question, and this is going to be my final question, I'll let you get back to doing what you're doing and let these folks get back to what they're doing. There's a lot of people in our community, that's the majority of people who are watching this, who are going to watch this, are there's so many things out there online, James. You know this, they know this, I know this. And people are skeptical, and they're wondering, should I join this whiz bang magical money machine over here that this guy just emailed me about this morning? Should I jump into Legendary and learn these skills that you're talking about that I know you've learned? Should I do something else? Should I scour YouTube and hope that I hit the jackpot? What would you say to somebody who's considering jumping into our community and going full in developing skills, maybe even deciding to come to our masterminds? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, like you say, there's so many different things online today. There's so many different people promoting lots of different things, and there's a lot of noise, and it can be really hard to know where to go. And I can honestly say that Legendary has got top-notch training. There's so much to discover in there, and it's kind of structured in a way where it's easy to understand as well. And one of the main topics that Legendary hits on affiliate marketing is my favorite income business model, because it's so easy for people to get in. I think it's the easiest and simplest business model for anyone really, but especially people who might be struggling with mental health, who, like I said, are not able to function in normal jobs, and kind of come in to online marketing without having to worry about stock. They don't have to worry about clients breathing down their neck. They don't have to worry about a boss or anything like that, inventory or anything. So I think affiliate marketing is absolutely the best business and easiest business model for anyone to get into, and I think Legendary has some of the best, if not the best, training on it out there. So I absolutely recommend to jump in with the trainings, learn everything you can, and also the masterminds as well. I mean, I know we're not doing the physical masterminds right now, we're doing the virtual masterminds, but you still want to jump in them as well, so you can make the connections. And that's really what's helped me catapult myself so quickly, is the connections that I've made from all the events that I've been to over the last couple of years, and the connections I've made. They say your network is your net worth, and it really is true. So I would definitely recommend jumping into the masterminds as well, getting to know the people, getting to know the speakers, the organizers, and all the other awesome people who are having success in the community, because that's people that you can learn from. That's people that you can kind of study and get to know to help you catapult yourself forward as well.
Yeah, I think that the value of a new network is so undervalued, and it's hard to understand it before you experience it. So it's like getting it's almost like getting a massive upgrade in software. You know what I mean? Because the software is what runs the computer, and what's in the mental software is what I'm hearing and listening to and learning from the people around me. And if the people around me are, cynical, negative, judgmental, critical, which, as you touched on earlier, is mostly all just projection. So it's mostly all just their own projection onto me. But it can be heavy. And to get connected with a network, a family, a circle of people that can grow to unlimited numbers the longer that you're involved, it's life-changing. It's been life-changing for me. I mean, if you were to take away all my business friends and connections and all of the people that have become a part of my life through this business, through being an entrepreneur, I would be left with a very small circle, in a very in not a very deep circle, right? In a circle of people who certainly don't understand who I really am and what I'm doing, because my friends do not know, nor can many of them understand, this drive and this passion that you and I have to be the best version of ourselves, to follow through and achieve, and to both use income as not really a measuring stick, but to at least not have a ceiling on our opportunity, and also to actually want to make an impact. And so I love that about you and your story. And I think we'll end there. Last question is, any final words, or I guess it's not a question, any final words in terms of your message to people who may be dealing with and may not even be aware of their mental illness, but may feel a little off, or may not even be diagnosed with something, but may feel a little depressed, especially during these times?
Absolutely. So one of the big things that I'm working towards is breaking the stigma around mental health. And as far as we've come over the last couple of years, there still is a big stigma around it. It's still taboo to talk about. And especially in men, men don't open up and talk about it as much as we could or should, because we're supposed to be tough and all of that crap, right? So I'm not sure what the statistics are in the US, but I know it's growing every year. The suicide rate is growing every year in the US, but in the UK alone, between the age of 25 to 45 in males, suicide is the leading cause of death, which is absolutely insane. So it just goes to show how much of a problem we really have. And the biggest contributing factor to suicide is feeling so alone, feeling like we can't open up, feeling like there's something wrong with us. But I can tell you, after speaking around the world, after speaking in lots of different countries, I can tell you that the people that actually don't struggle in some way, shape or form are actually in the minority. And the majority of people do have some kind of thoughts, maybe not suicidal thoughts, but some kind of anxiety, some kind of depression, or some kind of mental health problem. So the biggest thing is opening opening up about it and realizing that you're not alone, that it is okay to speak about, and kind of having that safe space to talk about. And that's why I tell my story. That's why I share my story from suicide to success around the world, is so people realize. And I'll tell you a very quick story about the power of having a safe environment. So the first time I went to New York, I got an Uber ride into the city, and it was about a 45-minute Uber ride, and we started talking about online business, what I did, and we got onto my story. And he opens up to me and he says that he also suffered sexual abuse as a child. He had suicidal thoughts and depression in the last 6 months alone. And we exchanged numbers at the end of the Uber ride. And the next day he messages me and he says, "Thank you so much for opening up to me and being honest with me. It was what prompted my honesty. I've never done that before." And that guy had literally carried that around with him for almost 20 years. He didn't open up to his mother, his parents, his family, no one. He had never told anyone about his abuse or his depressive thoughts. So I've got dozens of stories like that, and I love those kind of stories where people open up. But that was the first time that I realized what power my story has to help people open up, and how many people there are suffering in silence that don't open up. So if there's one ending message that I can end on, it's that you're not alone, and there's so many more people struggling with anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts than you realize, and that it's okay to open up. There's nothing wrong with you, and that it's okay to open up. And that's what I'm going to keep working towards, is breaking the stigma around that and getting my message and my mission out to as many people as possible to prevent as many suicides as possible.
Well, I love it. And one of the best things that I've done for my business career, for me, not only as a man, clearly this has benefited me as a husband and a father, but also as an entrepreneur, is actually going to therapy and working through, stuff, childhood trauma, and other mental challenges, blocks, emotional constipation that I've had that have then snowballed into self-sabotage as an adult. Obviously, and many people know my story of being an addict. If you don't think trauma comes along with that, my friends, what planet are you from? But the interesting thing is that in my therapist actually said this to me the other day. He said that even with this George Floyd situation, every single one of us have just witnessed secondhand, basically a lynching. And we all have secondhand PTSD just from that video. Most of us have seen it more than one time. So that's a far away situation, in most cases physically far away, but just seeing that video, seeing violence, seeing a car accident, being in a car accident, it doesn't always have to be sexual abuse or being raped or being beat up or bullied or physically abused as a child to have an effect on us. We are vulnerable, sensitive people. And if we want to be clear and focused, I know for me, let me speak for myself. If I want to be clear and I want to be focused and I want to be able to serve and be fully present with my family and my clients, I have to continue to try to chip away at blockages that are blocking me mentally and emotionally, that are keeping me from fully, as Maslow's hierarchy lays out in very simple to understand context. If I want to move towards love, other needs being important and being met, and not just constantly be trying to get my financial needs met or my safety needs met, right? Or my food, water, shelter, and sleep. I mean, some people out there can't even sleep. So getting to a higher higher space to where we're looking at contributing, to where we're looking at or able to self-actualize, right? Which, again, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but in order to get to those higher levels of income and impact, we have to begin to clear. I have had to begin to clear away and make sure that I deal with and address some of those other needs that I have, some of those blockages, some of those past traumas. And it's been, again, one of the most powerful things that I've done, James. So it's been just absolutely, as you guys say over in the UK, brilliant to talk to you about this today. And I want to keep having this conversation with you specifically because you're so eloquent and also so authentic and courageous to share. And I am madly inspired by you. So thank you for being on today, my friend.
Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it. And it's also great to talk to you. Always awesome to talk to you and your audience. It's been a pleasure.
All right, man. All right, guys. What else can be said? It's a powerful episode, and I am going to leave it right there. So please leave us a comment, drop us a note, share this with somebody. Today was a powerful episode that many people could use. So one way you can be of value if you don't share, record your own videos and make your own post is just simply to hit that share button or even privately send it to somebody who may need to hear it. And that is a way that you can be of value, you can be of service, and you can help to push this message that I think is so super important. All right. So be legendary, guys. And we'll see you back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time,